Welcome to the EOT Cyber News for the Day with your host, EOT, bringing you the latest cyber news as I see them and find them throughout the internet. With that being said, let's get started with today's topics. Good morning, everyone. Today's 17 December 2024. Today's cybersecurity news are as follows. Rhode Island governor warns residents of cyber attack on state benefits. Federal money is helping the states overhaul cybersecurity. What happens if it dries up? And the EU issues the first ever sanctions over Russian hybrid attacks. And the Serbian government cracked phones with Cellbrite to install spyware, report says. Okay, let's talk about these a little bit. So basically in Rhode Island, the governor shut down its RI Bridges benefit systems because it was attacked, or it suffered a cyber attack by the Brian Cipher ransomware gang. And that exposed sensitive personal and financial data, potentially hundreds of thousands of residents. So that's basically, you got a big chunk of Rhode Island now that has been exposed. Their financial data might be exposed, health data, medical records, financial information. We talked about that a little bit. But so it says the breach disrupted critical programs like Medicaid, SNAP, and health insurance enrollment, forcing the state to implement temporary measures while Deloitte deletes ransom negotiations and federal authorities investigate. Okay. Now, why does this matter? Well, let's see. The breach jeopardizes the sensitive data of thousands, including Social Security and banking information, which is bad. Critical benefits programs are disrupted, threatening the financial and health stability of many residents. The attack highlights the vulnerabilities in state-managed systems and the increasing risk of ransomware targeting public services. Let's talk about those a little bit. So if someone has your Social Security and your banking information, all they need now is to give you a call on your cell phone, get you to say at least hello, or anything like, hey, hello, who's this, whatever. And then they can capture your voice, and they can, with AI software, they can voice authenticate into your bank information. Like they say, they got your social, they got your bank information. Now they've captured your voice because they called you and they captured your voice and use AI to duplicate your speech pattern and whatnot. And if you need voice authentication into your system, they got you. They got everything they need. So remember, these attacks are not just one attack. It's multiple forms of attack and data gathering that they use to get your information so they can get what they need to exploit and just take over everything. It's not great. It's not great. Be careful out there. So let's talk about the federal funding for states. Okay. So right now, federal funding for a 4-year $1 billion cybersecurity grant program supporting state and local governments is set to expire in September. Okay, at $1 billion is what's costing now to help the states shore up its cybersecurity to protect its citizens. It's getting ridiculous. It's getting expensive out there, people. And this seems to be raising concerns about the future of critical projects addressing cyber vulnerabilities. So this program has been going on since 2021, and it apparently has a great effect and has bolstered cybersecurity defenses, and especially for small municipalities or small towns that don't have that kind of fund. And some of the things that have been done is phishing awareness training, risk assessment, intrusion monitoring software, to name a few. However, its continuation depends on a decision by a GOP-led Congress and the incoming Trump administration. I don't think that they're going to overturn that. Seeing how they, I don't know honestly, I'm not a political guy. I don't know what's in his mind. But seeing how his messaging has been China, I don't think that they're going to go ahead and cut that, because we already know what's going on. Chinese typhoon hack, the Salt typhoon hack led by the Chinese. It's a war. It's a cyber war. Whether people want to believe it or not, it is a cyber war. You are the commodity, and anything they can do to exploit you, they're going to do. Okay. Now, this article listed, and this article comes from Cyber Daily, and this article, they have a way of listing things, and they list 3 things why this should matter. The program has enhanced defenses for vulnerable state and local governments. Essential cyber protection projects may be delayed or abandoned. An overwhelming demand for funds. Okay. So basically, the enhanced defenses for vulnerable state and local governments. This is for, like I was speaking earlier too, for communities or areas that are not metropolitan areas, more rural areas that don't have that kind of funding. If the funding lapses, they fear there may be an increased risk of ransomware attacks and database breaches. And the states report overwhelming demand for funds, underscoring the need for sustained and potentially expanded federal support. It would be nice if they can, if we can get everything going nicely. Hopefully, there's a way to keep this going. It's not just the states. It's the people. You got to think about it. It's not just protecting the state. It's protecting the people, the citizens of the state. Eventually, I keep telling you, you are the resource. You are what they're looking for. You are what they're looking for. They will, whatever they can get from you and exploit, they will use. So I keep telling you guys, be safe out there as much as you can. Look at your settings on your phones. Make sure you enhance the privacy settings on all your social medias to multi-factor authentication for all your sensitive data accounts. I can't stress this enough. This is important stuff. EU issues first ever sanctions over Russian hybrid threats. The European Council imposed its first ever sanctions on the new powers targeting Russian hybrid threats. It sanctioned 16 individuals and 3 entities involved in espionage, cyber attacks, and propaganda campaigns across Europe and Africa. The measure included asset freezing, travel bans, and funding prohibitions for those linked in the activities such as the GRU operations, Russian influence campaigns, and intelligence operations targeting EU states. Okay, why does this matter? Probably not much to you guys, right? But it's just good to keep an eye on everything that's going on, because these things happen. The sanctions highlight the EU's recognition of Russia's escalating hybrid attacks, including cyber attacks and disinformation campaigns. They mark a coordinated attempt to disrupt Russian influence operations within EU member states and abroad. Questions remain about the EU's ability to effectively attribute and respond to such threats. And the last one for today, Serbian government cracked phones with Cellbrite to install spyware, report says. Okay, so the Serbian authorities use Cellbrite software to unlock civilian phones and infect them with spyware. Including the newly discovered Novi Spy, Amnesty International reports the spyware targeted journalists and activists, allowing remote access to data, microphones, and cameras. Amnesty also found Serbian authorities exploit Android vulnerabilities and may have used Pegasus spyware for additional surveillance. Pegasus is at it again. Why it matters. The misuse of Cellbrite tools and Novi Spy underscores the global risk of unchecked surveillance technology. Targeting journalists and activists erodes press freedom and privacy rights. These findings highlight the urgent need for stricter controls and accountability for surveillance software. Apart from not owning a cell phone, this is just to tie a ribbon on everything I've been saying. Look, man, you have to be careful. You know, Pegasus is a no-link software. It's a no-click exploit. You don't need to click on the text message. You just need to receive the text message for it to run. There's nothing you can really do about that. I keep telling you guys, you know, if you're going to be using it, try to use encrypted communications, such, you know, Signal and Telegram, whatever you can find. I still don't like WhatsApp, and maybe start looking at phones that allow you to compartmentalize profiles on your phone. iPhones are not good for that, but some Android phones are good for that. Some Android phones allow you to create multiple profiles on your phone that do not bleed over to each other. You can have a work profile. You can have, you know, your profile for if you're a journalist or whatever. You can switch between the profiles and wall them out, sandbox them in. I don't know what to tell you, man. Things are getting kind of spicy out there. Just want y'all to be safe. Do your research. You know, I'm thinking about going back to either a Calyx phone or some other type of secure OS. I'm waiting to see if there's going to come something else. I've looked at the unplugged phone. I don't know. But I'll let y'all know. If I decide to go with one of those phones, if y'all want to know more about it, just let me know in the comments. Love y'all. Be safe out there in the cyber streets. And I'll see y'all for the next one.